Good morning. Welcome to the weekend wrap up show here on Shelbyville Now. It is September 20th, 2025, and you're watching this live. Mr. Josh Blevins, good to see
Yes.
you this morning.
Good to see you. False fall is over. We're back in the summertime here in Shelbyville.
Yep.
Yes.
So I don't know what's going on with that. I
Yeah.
noticed your Southern Cup's got little fall leaves on
It's got a
on the
happy
thing.
fall, y'all. That's just, that's wishful thinking. We're not quite there yet.
No, I think we've got a little bit more heat to deal with.
Yeah.
Before we dive into things today, Josh, let's hear from our sponsors, Dennis Young Insurance and Leverage Power Washing. We'll be right back to get you into this schedule that you had this week and go over some stuff.
We had a few things. We'll talk about it.
We'll be right back.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
All righty, welcome back in here to the weekend wrap-up show. You've got a good news report to start out.
I'm going to start off. This is I'm stealing this from the school board does this, and I, rather than come up with an original name, I just stole their name for it. So we had a lot of stuff we covered the last week. It was actually positive, and got a ton of views on a lot of it. So I just thought I'd bullet point it real quick in case you missed the post. Most people saw all these, but Saturday last week, right after I left the show, I went down to Lowe's, and it was a full parking lot.
Yeah, boy.
Volunteers from every age demographic, every race demographic. We had a bunch of nonprofits, we had kids from our high schools and stuff. They were down there working with an organization called Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and they build beds for kids that are sleeping on the floor. Basically, they work through I think they partner with CASA and a couple of the organizations that work with the court system to look for kids that are in foster care and different reasons where they may be in a situation where they may not have a bed. And they built 30 beds and got it all knocked out there. And we got a lot of comments about, man, if I knew about this, I would have volunteered.
Right,
well, it's your lucky day because they have a
coming
second
again.
event coming in October. It is not in the Lowe's parking lot. It's at Livingstone's Church, but the information is on our Facebook page. So if you really want to get out there and help, there's another Saturday coming in October. Go sign up.
I will say this. If you're in charge, if you're connected to an event that needs publicity, get it to us. Send us a message on Facebook, send us an email, whatever. Give us your artwork. We will post it for you and promote it for you because this is the type of stuff that we definitely want to support.
People need to know more about. Speaking of which, Sunday, I saw just a random post on a Facebook group that Silent Creek Coffee County, which if you read it wrong, it looked like it was a coffee company.
I know it.
It is not a coffee company. That is a motorcycle club, and also another motorcycle club called Ragnarok. We're coming into town from surrounding area to support a 12-year-old girl with autism that was doing a lemonade stand on a Sunday. So I met the group up on the square, talked to them, took some pictures. Great group of guys and ladies, and we drove over to the little lemonade stand. Everybody had some lemonade, and the young lady was super happy. She was pumped to see everybody there. So it was a good event.
They brought a load of people in.
They did. It was several dozen bikers.
bikers.
They came. Some of them came from a little bit of a distance. So no, that was great. Tuesday evening, there was a candlelight vigil at H.B. Griffin Park. It was kind of a co-event recognizing Charlie Kirk. And then also, we've still got a number of young people that have gone missing in Bedford County that over the past few years, fairly recently, that they have not, there's been no answer to what's gone on there. So they wanted to recognize both of those. Turnout was really good. I'm not good at crowd estimates, but I heard at least a couple hundred, at a minimum. It was quite a few people. Shout out to our local police department who came out and made sure everybody was safe there. So that was good. Just an overall good event there. Thursday afternoon, I didn't get to go to this. This is a shameless plug for myself. I wanted to go. It was a lunch for Junior's house, but I couldn't get connected with somebody that had a table, but I heard they had a good event and a good turnout for there. That was a fundraiser for them.
Right.
And then Thursday evening was the ribbon cutting at Liberty School.
Right.
They've been in class there for a few weeks, but it was a chance for everybody to get out and see all the new classrooms.
You got a lot of views on some of these things. At the Heavenly Peace deal at Lowe's, 282,000 views.
Yeah, that got picked up by Nick Barris at Channel
Right.
5, which really
We
boosted
appreciate
that a
him
lot.
giving that
So,
shout out because
yeah.
that just brings awareness to that program.
It does, yeah. Which hopefully means at the October event, hopefully they have
It'll be
more
bigger.
volunteers
Yeah.
than they need. So that would be great. So that is kind of our good news report to kick us off. And then as far as what actually went on in government meetings this week, Monday, got a report. This didn't actually come out of Bedford County. This came out of Maury and further downriver, but this affects us. There was a report published. They did a study on running a pipeline from the Cumberland River down to provide water to the Columbia area because of the impact on the Duck River right now, the amount of water being pulled out and the continuing growth and influx of people moving into this area. So they found, which was kind of a high, probably shocking number, that technically it could be pulled off, but you're looking at almost $2 billion with a B.
Okay. All right. So this opens up a whole can of worms, Josh.
Yeah.
If God didn't put rivers in a particular place to support life, maybe he didn't want it there.
You said maybe the good Lord didn't want that.
Maybe he didn't want it there for some reason. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But we're going to pipeline 30 miles based on what I saw. 30
Well,
miles.
I'd say they're probably not going to pipeline.
Yeah,
is the way it
no, there's no
looks.
way
So,
that's going to work ever,
yeah,
ever.
yeah. But it had been one of those ideas
Yeah,
that have been
yeah.
batted around for years. So they said, hey, let's actually look at what it would cost and how it would take.
Here's the rules, Josh. If you're going to move down here in southern middle Tennessee, you better bring your own water because we ain't got none.
Bring your own water. Well, if you read this week's Times Gazette, Dawn had a really good article. She spoke to Chris White, that's on the state's Duck River board that the governor set up, and what they're more likely looking at, because the pipeline is probably almost definitely not going to happen.
Not it.
They're either going to, or possibly both, going to raise the Normandy Dam is one of the primary ideas on the table, and also the location of Columbia's water intake. They're moving that further downriver to a spot that has better water flow. And
how about just move the people over there?
Well, or you can move the people out of
Hey,
Columbia,
we're talking
so.
about Cumberland River here. Bring it from Cumberland River down to Columbia area, for that area, the western end of the service area of Duck River, because by the time it gets down there, it's a trickle. Okay. How about like just all those people just kind of stay up on the Cumberland River?
They could do that
because there's lots of room up there, a lot of open space.
There is now
outside of Nashville.
Yeah, one of the things I read, I think it was in Dawn's article, was that even from the Cumberland River, they're saying, hey, by the way, we're needing more water all the time too. We got people moving here, so maybe we don't want you taking our water.
Maybe this is a signal that we might ought to be careful here.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
just saying.
yeah.
I don't know.
So definitely a lot more to go on there, but just thought that was an interesting report, and we'd post about it. Tuesday evening, as far as local meetings, we did have the county committee meetings wrapped up in less than an hour. All three meetings. Couple things I wanted to bring to attention to. There was a portion that you were unhappy with because you couldn't hear a lot of the conversation because it happened off mic.
Well, you heard my point.
Yes.
Okay. If we're going to do it, let's do it. If not, just turn it off.
Right.
I mean, honestly, it's a great service. Chris does a good job of getting this thing lined up. Let's just honor him by picking the mic up.
Pick the mic up. But there was a extended discussion about, I guess, and I didn't know anything about this, but I guess for years there's been what's called a commodity distribution over at the Ag Center, and it's put on by South Central Human Resource Agency, and they actually get commodities, which, as far as I can tell, is what, like vegetables, fruits, and meats from USDA. The federal government gets these. They buy these on the open market. These are kind of it sounded like, the way I read it's to help keep the markets propped up, and it's also basically overflow commodities that they don't need. It's food that otherwise might go to waste
that we can't afford.
Well, that we can't afford, but the federal government can afford. But anyways, they have been for years giving this away at a quarterly giveaway. And the word is that the one that just happened might be the last one currently on the schedule. I guess changes at the federal level have brought this into question where this program is going to continue.
Yeah.
Now, the stuff you didn't hear off, Mike, our mayor said the South Central is looking into finding another source or another supplier for this food, because I guess seniors in particular take a lot of advantage of this program. And it's for people that are, have food insecurity.
Yeah, it's not just seniors. It's like larger families,
Yeah.
Single parent families, all that type of stuff
Yeah.
that are at disadvantage. I mean, they're taking advantage of that. So
Yeah, so they're looking into another source, but at the moment that program is in question. We'll keep an eye on what happens there. Public safety report. Wanted to point out there were 442 traffic stops last month by sheriff's deputies. This is kind of a new thing that's just started happening in the last couple months. When I first moved here, I had heard, and it was apparently, the way it was, sheriff's department didn't do much with traffic here. They kind of left that alone, and every man for himself. THP did most of the traffic stops, and then city police inside the city. They're getting enough complaints now about bad drivers, bad driving, speeding, road rage, you name it, that our sheriff's department is now actively out doing a lot of traffic stops. So if you used to think, oh, that's just a sheriff's deputy, I'm just going to keep flying by him, don't do it anymore, because he will pull you over now.
Yeah, so. And here's the thing. I would be one to say, y'all, we got a problem with this right here. It's everything's great as long as everybody else is getting pulled over. Just don't pull me over. All right, but here's the thing. We all need to be aware of what we're doing. The speed limits, we need to honor the speed limits. I mean, you might have a little cushion because your speedometer could be off, but don't be going 45 and a 30. And you see this happening on North Main is another place that's just it's like a tragedy waiting to happen. People got to slow down out through there because we got businesses, people trying to turn and get in and out of traffic. That's the reason it's 30.
Right. Yeah. And I'll point out one that I know well is Jennings Lane over on my side of town. The speed limit is 30. And I try, I'm not going to lie. I go 40 at least because I know I'm going to get run over if you're not going 40. But even at 40, it's a double yellow line. It's a narrow road. I've had people pass me because they're upset at I'm 40. Going that slow at 40.
All right. So these speed limits are not there to slow you down. These speed limits are there because it's a safe speed to drive on that.
Safety reason. Jennings Lane is because there's residential houses that have driveways.
And it's aggravating. It's aggravating to drive 30 when there's nobody else around.
There's nobody around but you and the cows.
Exactly. But then when you get that traffic flow in there at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, it changes.
There's a reason. So, they didn't just randomly pick that number. So, another report from safety I wanted to highlight was county fire. We don't talk about this a whole lot. I had a conversation with somebody in our fire services this week. Volunteer firefighters, from what I'm told, this is just anecdotal, and this was just me having a conversation with somebody in the field. It has gotten harder and harder to get volunteers for volunteer fire departments. It's just back in the day, they said they would get, you would have an open position or whatever, and you get a ton of people that wanted to take that position. Now you can't hardly get people in those positions. So what is going on? If you look in actual report, this was the August report for our county fire department. They received 117 calls for the fire department. Of those 117, 116, so all but one of them, the paid firefighters actually went to that.
Right.
Fire station number 1. So if you look down at our volunteers, obviously the most active one is Unionville, but they only had to respond to 13 calls throughout the month. Deason responded to 8. Bell Buckle and War Trace each responded to 7 calls. WBTS responded to 6. Normandy and Flat Creek only responded to 3 calls throughout the month. So, which is just to say what that conversation led to, which is the paid firefighters, the one that are having to get to most of these. And a lot, even the places where you've got volunteers, they may be at work or something.
Oh, yeah.
They can't get to the calls. So it's not that they're...
Yeah, how does that work? You got to have a large number of people participating to cover all the times, and that's just not there.
Yeah. So, if you live out in one of those areas, maybe volunteer for your local volunteer fire department. Look into it.
At one time, if you were on the volunteer fire department, I believe it's correct that you could actually be enrolled on the county insurance. And that goes back years. I don't know if that even exists now, but there was an advantage to being a volunteer firefighter back years ago.
Yeah, but it would definitely be something worth looking into because I think they could probably use the help. So Thursday went to the school board meeting, which was held at Liberty in the gym immediately following the ribbon cutting. There were two items on that agenda that I just wanted to touch on real quick. They had a bit of a discussion on media availability. They agreed to, at the end of it, a new media policy, which says in writing now that the school superintendent and the board chairman is available after every school board meeting for interviews by the media, which seems like not that hard of a policy, but they did have quite a bit of discussion about that. And I went up and spoke to both of them afterwards. And I said, the only point I would make is if you look around in the room, I'm the only one that's here that remotely even resembles media. So nobody goes to these meetings. So it's not really, I didn't think it was that big of a thing, but they did agree to that. And just on a side note, because we'll talk about it here in the attendance section, both our school superintendent and the board chairman have been really accessible. So
Sure.
I asked them
And
questions.
you're never
all the
going to get
time.
turned away.
No, and they're more than willing to answer questions. The big item that was the most discussed, though, and this is one I think we talked about after last month's meeting, school attendance is down. They said it's not as far down in our county as some of the surrounding counties. They mentioned they had counties in the region that were down as much as 20% this year.
Okay, so Josh, these numbers that you've put down here that we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
I think is an indicator of where our society is headed. Starting to head, I believe.
Seems to be a trend. Yeah. I mean, it's headed, and they mentioned this probably goes back to COVID and is kind of carried forward. And where we're at this year is in K through 12, we're seeing at 8,626 students, which is down 240 from last year. So we've had a 240 student drop, despite the fact that our county population has gone up in that time period.
Okay.
And the other number that sticks out is in Bedford County currently there are 1,089 homeschool students registered. So that would be, on my calculator, more than 10% of our student population has decided to
Okay.
go to homeschool.
Let's talk about this just for a second. Some people might view this as bad news. Okay. Some
Right.
people might view this as good news. I view it as good news because it's taking some stress off our teachers. We were overcrowding. Okay. This has got to be a good thing. And the school board looking at this has got to say, wow, that's taking a little bit of the stress off of us. Okay. It might free up some things rather than put us in a pinch financially. It's a relief maybe.
Well,
Or how was that taken?
One of the board members did bring up, he said, if all 1,100 of these students decide to come back into school, we'd be in trouble. They wouldn't have anywhere to put them.
Okay, I take
So,
this as
yeah.
a positive thing that
Yeah.
parents are wanting to take this bull by the horns and doing it themselves because it is taking some stress off of our government funded school system. All right,
Right.
government funded as in taxpayer funded
Yes.
school system.
Yeah.
It's taking some stress off. I mean, if this trend continues, Josh, we might not have to build all these schools that we were talking about.
That could enter into the discussion for sure. Now, the negative side that they brought up was there's not a lot of standards for these 1,089 kids. They're not taking
Josh,
standardized
all right,
testing.
So
and
what?
that.
So what? It's their choice.
It is. It is their parents'
It's their choice.
Yeah.
The school board and the teachers and everybody, should not be concerned about that. They should be concerned about the 8,626,000 students that they do have, and the parents of these 1,089
They're responsible.
are responsible for that.
They're ultimately
So take
responsible.
that as don't worry about those 1,089. Take care of the ones we got right here, and that number getting lower is a good thing.
It's
I'm just
definitely
saying.
helping
I'm
with-
just talking from this
Sure.
is just my common sense kicking in right here. Our government does not bear the responsibility to educate every single kid that's ever been born. Okay, it's just not there. You
Right.
got parents that are responsible, and these parents that are responsible, their kids are going to get a good education if they're responsible.
If they have a responsible parent, they will.
This
yeah.
is where this
Yeah.
falls. We don't need to have government control over every single thing. Just take responsibility for what we have and do a good job at that. Hey, I think all the cards just lay out and play themselves out well
Yeah.
if you do that.
Well, and just another side point here, because we talked about this last month. They have found out that because of the state deal that happened with the vouchers,
Right.
no matter how far our numbers drop this year,
Not going to
They're-
affect us.
not going to affect us. We're not going to lose $1 of funding, so we'll have more funding. with
More
less
dollar per
kids.
student. More
Yes.
dollar per student hits
Yeah.
the ball. Hey, I take this as a good thing.
Yeah,
I'm not looking at this as bad.
Yep.
Okay.
So
And for
that's-
some reason, Josh, we get enamored with larger numbers means it's better.
right,
That's
yeah.
not the case.
Kind of like growth.
Don't get me started.
Just another side note, since we were at Liberty, they actually, because I don't normally get the paperwork from these meetings, but Liberty is currently sitting at 401 students in the elementary and 194 in the middle school. So that's what's actually at Liberty School right now that they've done the expansion and whatnot. So I was kind of curious pulling in how big of a school it was as well. So that's it. They're a little, just a hair under 600 kids.
Okay, so elementary, you're going at I guess K through 5th.
Yeah, I don't know
and
where our split is from
6 through.
Yeah, I don't know if we're K through 5 or K through 6 here. Yeah,
You go
quite big.
6th, 7th, and 8th is middle,
It's called middle.
and K through
Okay.
5th is elementary. So you got basically 6 grades here and 3 grades here. That number should be about half, and that's about where it is.
Yeah. So, yep, they were happy with that number, and the school looks great. The expansion looks good.
Yeah, I saw the video. That's really nice. Really
Yeah,
nice.
They've done a really good job down there. So, but with that, that is all the meetings I had this week. And
All
I've
right.
got an important event I've got to go to in a few
Yeah,
minutes. So
yeah.
we're intentionally being a little short this week, but we want to make sure we covered everything important. And we got some stuff coming up next week we
Yeah.
want to talk about, but let's hear from our sponsor one more time, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
All righty. Welcome back in here to the weekend wrap-up show. Josh, what we got coming this week?
A little busier week coming up. Actually, I guess I'll point out two things that aren't even on here. Currently going on, I believe we have the War Trace Music Festival is going on all day today in War Trace, and then Moppin' Fest is going on in Unionville all day. So there's two big music events going on the same day right now in the county. Tuesday, I have got a jam-packed full, exciting day for me anyways, if you like meetings. Tuesday morning, we're having the first meeting of our City Employee Benefits Committee. We're going to be looking at health insurance and retirement for city employees, looking if there's any room in there to save money for the city without negatively impacting the employees.
Right.
So that's what that meeting's about. Tuesday evening, the County Finance Committee will be meeting, discussing whatever went on in finance in the county in the last month. Right after that, the City Power and Water Board will meet over at the Shelbyville Power offices there. Right after that, in the courthouse on the square, same day, County Planning Commission will be meeting. This is a meeting that the last 2 months has been deferred because the party that was bringing something to the meeting wasn't ready. So hopefully it will actually happen. There's 2 items on the agenda, so the odds are higher that this one will happen.
Yeah.
This meeting, and maybe there'll be some discussion because there has been at the county commission level recently about what's going on with the RVs in the county, and then also the wastewater. There was actually, I read an article this week from Wilson County. There's a couple subdivisions there that are very upset because they've spent millions on step systems, and they're with a provider that I've heard bad things about. I won't mention them since we don't want to smash a particular product name, but this provider they're with has not done a good job of upkeep, and they've got major issues with their step systems. So they've sunk millions into these, and they're still not functioning.
You know, Josh, I don't care how you look at it, how you try, how you manipulate. There's some pieces of land that were not meant to be lived on. There's a lot of land out there that's meant to be farmland, and as long as we keep trying to force population into those areas, we're going to have complications. These are complications.
These were complications. These are not like really nice high-end subdivisions in Wilson County. So, and they're Homeowner's not happy there.
Not too high end when we got
Not
stuff
when
floating
it
around on the
smells
ground.
like sewage, and
Yeah.
that's what they're getting. Then Thursday evening, we've got the City Planning Commission, which I sit on that one. I started going through my packet this weekend. There are several townhome developments again that they want to bring into the city.
High density.
More increased density zoning that we'll be looking carefully at and seeing if it is right for the city. Because honestly, we're sitting on several townhome developments here in town that aren't selling very well right now. Although the market in general has been kind of soft, but they're not moving a lot of
Interest
townhomes
rates
at the
were
moment.
reduced by 0.25% this week. That should affect mortgage. That should, in theory, spur spending in housing. But I don't see it happening right now, Josh.
Short term, the first day or two, from what I read, it actually didn't move mortgage rates at all. If anything, they actually went up. And the reality is, I mean, if you're in that finance world, mortgage rates are tied to bond yields.
Yes.
Way more than they are tied
Yeah.
to the Fed funds rate. So
In theory, that's supposed to ease things up for our economy, but it's the overall economy right now is just like there's a big question mark.
Yeah.
So how do you keep on just building? I mean, this is a big risk for developers to take at this point.
Yeah, they keep developing. I can tell you, we're seeing
Stack them and pack them.
Yeah, we see new ones coming in every week. So with that, I think we will be back here at the same place, same time, same channel next week with more of the news that matters, and maybe with a few more meetings. We might have a few more things to talk about. If not, we'll cover whatever happens.
Yeah.
So
Same time, same place. Thanks for watching, guys. Please share our show with your friends.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you being here. Appreciate the comments. We saw you out there, the few guys that showed up this morning, and we concur with everything